Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to watchyouwant.com. Thanks for logging on. When we speak of Geneva watchmaking, one name stands above the rest. Well, actually, two names. Patek Philippe. And in this, the 175th anniversary of the Patek Philippe manufacture, it seems that the watches have never been bigger, more complicated, more expensive, or more hyped. In fact, caught up in the occasion and the moment, we sort of forget that the name Patek Philippe owes as much to simple, beautifully finished, beautifully conceived and executed dress watches as it does to grand complications and record-setting auction yields, which is why now is the perfect time to discuss the Patek Philippe Calatrava, specifically the reference 5119G that I hold in my hand. This is the essence of Patek Philippe. Now, the company has been owned since 1932 by the Stern family, originally purchased by the Stern family in 1932 because the Sterns were the largest dial supplier to Patek Philippe, which was on the verge of going bankrupt in the heat of the Depression. The bottom line was the Sterns depended too heavily on Patek for business to let it go, so they bought in and they went all in. And they needed a comeback watch for the occasion. And for that occasion, a simple time-only reference was their choice. Now, the watch didn't really have a name other than occasional numerical designations and informal nicknames. Patek Philippe's generally don't have names. They tend to have numerical descriptors, but when the Patek auction market and collector market began to take off in the 80s, increasingly, those early references designed by the Stern brothers came to be called the Calatravas. And one of the most iconic of the reborn Calatrava line during the 80s was the 3919 with its hobnail bezel. And this reference, the 5119G, actually represents the modern embodiment of this reborn Calatrava. Now, while the original was a 33mm watch, a little bit small by contemporary standards, the 5119 is a thoroughly wearable 36mm mid-sized watch. Very elegant. It doesn't overplay its hands the way some 40-plus, quote, dress watches do today. With feuille hands, black oxidized, small seconds at 6 o'clock, it's true to the original Calatrava, but it makes a few departures in terms of that bezel, which is an icon of the modern Calatravas, not so much the 30s and 40s equivalents, the straight lugs, which you see right here, and the use of Roman numerals on the dial. The beautiful combination of the black Romans, the black feuille hands, the small seconds at 6, and the lacquered white dial is incredibly striking, and in combination with the texture, it's almost a Clou de Paris diamond hobnail, not just straight up square blocks like you'll see on the dial of an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. It's actually got a little bit of a diagonal direction to it when you read it closely. This watch is incredibly elegant, and yet because of the white gold, it has substance in the hand. You can feel that premium pull of precious metal. There's also a tremendous amount of horological content in addition to a beautiful dial and a classic case. You have the caliber 215 inside. Now, this is a Patek Philippe manufacture movement with a 44-hour power reserve, and it features a couple of refinements that are unique to the company. First and foremost is the Patek seal. And in the past, I've said, well, that's a little bit like the fox guarding the henhouse, but I will say this. They have not dropped their standards since they dropped the Geneva hallmark. If anything, they forced the Geneva hallmark to elevate its standards, because the Patek seal applies to everything from the dial, to the movement, to the case, to the strap. Whereas the Geneva seal, prior to 2012, only related to the finishing of the movement. Since then, the Geneva seal has upped its game to keep pace with Patek Philippe. But the bottom line is, if you're setting the standards, everyone else merely follows, and that's how Patek operates. So nothing has been lost in terms of the anglage of all bridges, of all plates. You can see the tightly turned perlage on the base plate in terms of the dressage on all wheels, from the ratchet wheel to the crown wheel to the actual going train. The graining is impeccable. The beveling is impeccable. This holds up under a microscope. Another element that's unique to the Patek Philippe movements that you see here, you can only partially see it because the balance is in action, but besides the finishing, there's the signature Gyromax balance. That's important because it gives the watch a measure of accuracy and durability that isn't universal in the high horology sector, where watches tend to be fine but temperamental and delicate. Although this movement is only 2.5 millimeters thick, it's exceptionally hardy, and it's built to Patek standards for an everyday, daily driver dress watch. Now, this watch has the first movement ever designed to operate at a modern 28.8, that is 28,800 vibrations per hour, with the signature Patek Philippe Gyromax balance. So it's also a little bit of a historic landmark, in addition to being a fine piece to examine and an accurate piece to wear. Now, the watch has a lot of thoughtful details, one of which is the manual lever retraction spring bars on both sides of the strap. This actually allows you to change the strap to suit your tastes without needing a jeweler's tool, because as beautifully finished as this case is, you probably wouldn't want to attempt a do-it-yourself effort with a jeweler's tool, and you might not even be comfortable with your local, general practice jeweler stuffing a screwdriver into these lugs. So just retract it with your finger, and your fingernail's all that you need, and the strap pops right off. It's as easy as that. Very thoughtful, maybe not what you'd expect of Patek Philippe. That seems like a feature you might expect on a Panerai, but the ability to swap straps and change the look, yes, of this 5119G Patek Philippe Calatrava is there and ready if you want it. Now, this watch is available from watchyouwant.com in condition indistinguishable from new. Celebrate the Patek Philippe 175th anniversary with a classical dress watch in the best tradition of the manufacturer. Patek Philippe is 175 years old, but this look is timeless. Check out this 5119G Calatrava on our website, watchyouwant.com. We are the world authority in luxury pre-owned watches, high-resolution photography of both sides of this watch that will do far better justice than my iPhone to both the dial and the movement awaits you on our site. Check it out. I'm confident that if you're shopping for a high-end luxury dress watch, this 5119G from Patek Philippe will be the watch you want.